Hi, I'm Noah Medford, and welcome to this edition of Rutherford County Magazine. Since we've seen you last, we haven't stopped looking for new and interesting things happening in the county to share with you. So today we will first visit Blackman Middle School and learn about their newest building addition. Then we will talk to the project manager and architect for the new Rutherford County Judicial building. And we will also talk with Mayor Burgess about the project. Then we will see how our local property assessor's office is going green. And finally, we'll talk to the mounted patrol of our Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and see how they are serving in the community. So don't move, we're just getting started. Please enjoy this edition of Rutherford County Magazine. In the fall of 2014, Blackman Middle opened their brand new 6th grade annex.
All right, my name is Seth Bird. I am one of the assistant principals at Blackman Middle School. I am in charge of the 6th graders and will be in charge of our brand new 6th grade annex. We're using the 6th grade annex as kind of a transition from elementary to our 7th and 8th grade. It's a good time for our 6th graders to get to know the rules and the regulations of middle school, what goes on in middle school within their own building. So we think it's of a great benefit. We got the annex basically because of growth. We've seen a population boom out here.
My name is Stephanie Brown and I'm a 6th grade ELA teacher at Blackman Middle School. I love the new building. The annex is amazing. We went from 4 teachers teaching on top of each other on the stage at the auditorium to teachers not having classrooms, and now we have our own classroom. The 6th grade is separated from the 7th and 8th graders. They have lockers, we have classrooms, we have functionality. It's amazing.
It is a state-of-the-art facility, up-to-date technology, wide hallways, big lockers. We have a gym. We have a brand new cafeteria that we've added on to our old cafeteria. It took about a year, a little over a year, to get the annex built. We want to thank everybody from school board members to county commissioners to parents to community members to our faculty, to our staff, to our students. We are just very fortunate to have a building of this caliber. It is just tremendous, and we're just happy to be in it.
And what a great addition to the new Blackman Middle School. And speaking of construction, there's actually some construction going on here in Murfreesboro coming up pretty soon. They're building a new judicial building. Today I have with me Jerry Preston and Steve Johnson, and if you guys will just tell me what you're doing with the project.
Well, I'm Steve, and I am the architect for the project, so we'll be the design for my work for Gresham Smith and Partners here in Nashville, and we're the architects.
Very cool.
And I'm Jerry Preston, and I'm with Pinnacle Construction Partners, and we are the owner's project representative, and we'll be representing the Rutherford County Public Building Authority.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys so much for being here today and talking with us. So how long has this been in the planning for this new judicial building?
Well, the county has been studying the feasibility of building a new courthouse for 10 years that I'm aware of.
Wow.
So it's been in the planning stages for a long time, or the need has been identified for quite a while. But it seems to have really picked up momentum in the last year to really move ahead to the actual design and construction of a new courthouse beyond the feasibility phase.
And what exactly is the need? Why do we need a new judicial building?
Growth is what's happening. Rutherford County, Murfreesboro is one of the nation's fastest growing counties.
Wow.
And the government facilities have to keep up with that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's important too that, you know, to have a building that is under our concept of a modern courthouse, you know, and the facilities here, you know, that really model or concept was, you know, not in play, you know, at that point in time. So from the standpoint of, of doing a building that's efficient in handling the different types of circulation and security. It's important to have a modern courthouse, or one that's of that model.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So is this new building, is it more than one building, or is it just the one building? What exactly is being planned?
Well, it hasn't been designed yet. We're at the very front end of the process, but as of right now, it will be one building and a parking garage.
Oh, very nice.
So it's 2 buildings, a garage, and a courthouse.
Very cool. And so how big is this new building going to be? Is it like how many courtrooms, like how many stories?
Well, it's planned for 12 courtrooms.
All right.
And planned for expansion of 4 more.
Oh, very interesting.
And the height of the building hasn't been determined yet, because that's, like I said, we've just started design, and there's a couple different configurations of how you do courtrooms. It could be a 4-story building, a 6-story building, maybe even a little taller, a little flatter. So that hasn't been determined yet. It's a pretty big building, though.
Yeah, and it'll be about roughly about 200,000 square feet. And the parking garage is, right now, looks like it'll be somewhere between maybe 360, 370 spaces. And one of the ideas for the parking garage is to, possibly have some street-level retail or lease space in it, so it'll be part of the fabric of downtown.
Is this new building, like, how is it architecturally going to feel, in downtown Murfreesboro? Is it going to fit in?
Well,
how are you guys going to plan that?
That's a good question, a very good question.
That's the number one question.
We haven't, like I said, we haven't designed it yet, but downtown Murfreesboro, the historic courthouse, there's a very definite kind of feel and scale to downtown, which is really wonderful. And this building needs to complement that and enhance it, and it's going to create growth. It's going to pull growth toward it, because it's a big building and we'll have a lot of activity. So we don't have a picture of it yet, but it's going to be very respectful of downtown and fit into the scale of downtown, and reinforce the street and the government facilities that are already here, and try to anticipate, looking out 20, 30 years in the future, how would you create an improved street with government facilities and the seat of government of Rutherford County. So it's really interesting design problem to work through this, but it will be very respectful of downtown Murfreesboro.
Yeah, because of all the, all the different things that are going on in scale and architecture around the site, as well as the historic courthouse, it's a bit of a challenge, to figure out the fabric and make sure that it's a, responsible piece of that fabric. But, the one thing you want to make sure of in the end is that it's fresh, it's new, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds super exciting to me.
Well, it will be. It's a complicated building. It's an important building. It's very much a statement about Murfreesboro and civic pride, and it'll be here a long time and have a long, important life to it. So.
Yeah.
And for people of kind of our generation, it's a lifetime building. It'll be here.
Yeah, as an architect, you design. We design a lot of things, but this kind of building is something special.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's going to be added to the skyline of Murfreesboro.
Absolutely. We'll change it, because it is a big building.
That is so exciting.
It is. It is.
So going into the designing process, are there other buildings around, other judicial buildings that are something that you like, and that you're going to be pulling in different elements from other buildings that have been seen, or?
Certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. The historic courthouse here in Murfreesboro will be very respectful of this building, and then the surrounding courthouse square. How that exactly translate into a building, I'm not sure yet, but it will absolutely take its cues from the historic courthouse.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it will be very respectful to that. But it will be a building of its own era too, where this historic courthouse is from over 100 years ago.
Right.
The new one will be of its own time also. That's kind of the trick and the art of it.
Yeah, and the building that Steve was involved in, and they were the architects on the A.A. Birch building, in Metro Nashville, and it's certainly a building that was built under the concept of a new courthouse, you know, concept, and that's something we want to build on and improve and make a better building. But that being a baseline.
We completed the new courthouse for Nashville a few years ago. So,
Oh, that's exciting.
and it's very similar in a lot of ways, because it was respectful of an historic courthouse and had a small building on it nearby, like this building will have also. So there's a lot of interesting similarities. They're about the same size too.
Oh, that's helpful.
In terms of number of courtrooms
Yeah.
and function of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this building, you know, the concept from a program planning standpoint is the building lasting, you know, probably to 2050, you know, as when it's completed and all the floors are completed and so forth. And then beyond there, you know, may have to have an annex or something of that nature, but certainly in planning stages, you know, to 2050.
Wow, that must be so hard. Like, I can't imagine having to plan that far in advance. That's so amazing, like what you guys are doing.
There's another very good planning firm that the county hired, Justice Planning Associates, who've done some of that forecasting.
Oh, okay.
And it's some of it's based on demographics, some of it's based on trends in judicial planning. So they take the first snapshot of what that crystal ball needs to be, and then the rest of the, you know, then we take what they've done and try to think about it in terms of how do you design this building and make sure it is open to expansion and change over time as the county continues and the city continue to grow.
Right.
Yeah, you know, just the growth of Rutherford County, it you know, presents a challenge in trying to make those forecasts and do them correctly, you know, and try to be smart about, you know, planning ahead and you know, in making sure you plan adequately, you know, for the future, because you don't want to, you know, you don't want to come up short, really.
Yeah, you want to build what you need now, not more than what you need, but build what you need now. Be smart about what you believe is coming, and allow it to grow into what it, you know, the additional facilities that will be needed. So there's some forecasting, and there's a little bit of just you plan and try to plan enough flexibility into it so to allow that to happen.
That's so
and
cool.
Have a couple of different strategies of how it could grow, and kind of the city could and the county could pick and choose what was the smart thing 20, 30 years in the future when they had to make another move. Hopefully they're choices, and they can then, you know, make the right choice then.
Yeah. So going into this planning, like, once you guys get like a design, or is it just like these committees that are making the decisions, or like do you get other input from like citizens? Or I know you mentioned the public, with the Public Building Authority, are all of these things coming together to make these decisions, or? We
have a committee set up of the Design Review Committee.
Okay.
In addition to the Public Building Authority. So they will be the primary, you know, input and resource that we'll use, you know, as the project develops.
Very cool.
So, and we'll be meeting with them on a regular basis for months as we work our way through the design, from very high level conceptual stuff to more detailed kinds of design issues. So we'll be working with them for quite a while now. It's Design Review Committee. And it's made up of a good cross-section of different perspectives, from contractors, other architects, the Judicial Committee, community, the Sheriff's Office, the Clerk's Office, everybody, you know, who has a real stake in the building.
Yeah, the Property Management Committee.
Property Management Committee.
Yeah, as well.
So you get a good cross-section of perspectives.
That's so cool.
And the mayor is, you know, very engaged in it.
Right. That's awesome. So what's going to be your stamp on this building? Do you have something you really want to like leave with Murfreesboro with? Well, you know, something that's your favorite?
It's a little bit of a process of discovery. We don't know right now exactly what that is, but we want to do that.
Yeah.
But it's a process of discovering it, so that at the end of the day, that it will be that. It will seem like that building has always been here and should have been here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the goal. But you know, at the beginning, you don't know exactly what that is. So rarely do you know at the beginning. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Most projects of this magnitude are a process of kind of discovery about what should the building be.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming, and I wish you all of the luck and success in the next, the planning process and the designing process. And we have recently talked to Mayor Burgess as well, and he's going to give us a little bit of an update on the timeline. So thank you guys again so much, Jerry Preston and Steve Johnson.
Wow.
Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Well, we're standing right here on the southeast corner of our clerks and Register of Deeds building and our property assessors building, and diagonally across the street we have the Daily News Journal building that we purchased for the purpose of putting the parking garage there. And that's a part of this whole project, and you can see behind us the rest of the property that we've had for some time now, where we're going to put the whole structure of the actual judicial building itself. We've done several things over the last several months. One of the things, as I've already mentioned, is we secured the property for this location of our parking garage, which was crucial to the actual development of the actual judicial building itself. We must have those spaces available. So we did that in August of this particular year. They're still occupying the building, the D&J is, until about, I think they've asked for a couple more months through April the 15th. But through that whole course of time since then, we've engaged what we call our PBA, the Public Building Authority, that's going to be responsible for actually coordinating all of this work. They are sort of standing instead, representing the county as our official organization that's authorized to engage our architect, our planning programming consultants, our owner's project rep, and now we're in the process of obtaining what we're going to call a construction manager, which will be involved from the very beginning of the design phase to help us be sure we can develop the project, efficiently and economically, and contain all those components that everyone that has a vested interest really thinks we should have. That process of architectural design probably is going to last 12 to 15 months, or maybe a little bit more, which means that through this discussion and through this period of engaging all these entities, hopefully by early part of 2016, we'll be through the design and development phase that will allow us to know exactly how many dollars we're going to have to fund this, and we'll be ready to start construction in about the early part of 2016. And construction will possibly take a couple of years, or in that neighborhood. So sometime in 2018, we hope to have the building completed and open for service.
And how great to hear about the plans for our new judicial building. But that's not the only thing new in town. Our property assessors recently added something new to their office.
Controlling fuel costs and being very efficient in our expenditures is very important to the property assessor's office. We're charged with going out and inspecting visually every property in Rutherford County. And we have to put a lot of miles on vehicles, so our ability to save money on fuel is very important. That's why we looked into purchasing something that was more fuel efficient. We purchased 2 hybrids with the use of a clean energy grant from the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation. It's part of the mitigation funds from the TVA ash spill over in Roane County. So that $26.2 million was put into a fund to fund especially green initiatives. So this was one of the grants that qualified for it. Purchase of green vehicles qualifies for that, so we were able to utilize those funds. These vehicles get 45 miles per gallon in city, 45 miles per gallon on the highway. While they're driving through neighborhoods, our assessors will actually be using no gasoline because the vehicles operate on 100% electricity up to about 25 miles an hour. Of all the things we've probably done in the last 2 years, this has gotten the most positive public response. The community understands our commitment to using the best technology available to operate efficiently. They understand that since we aren't a non-compliance county, that's why we have to have our vehicles' emissions tested. We have to do something to reduce our carbon footprint, and this is one way to do that. Well, cost is always an issue. This was essentially a buy one, get one free agreement. We're the first assessor's office in the state of Tennessee to utilize the Clean Energy Grant to purchase vehicles, and we're going to be sharing this information with other assessor's offices across the state. And the way the program's set up, if it works the way we anticipate it will, more vehicles will be purchased through a local dealership here in Rutherford County, so that's good for everyone.
The property assessor rides are pretty cool, and they're definitely more environmentally friendly. But I have to say that the mounted patrol of the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office definitely has the coolest rides in town.
Sergeant John Levi. I've been with the Sheriff's Department for 18 years, and I'm over our Mounted Patrol Division. We have the Mounted Patrol here at the Sheriff's Department because it's just another tool that we can use to effectively patrol the county and to protect and serve the citizens of this county. The main thing these horses are good for, not just here but anywhere at any department, is for crowd control. They are probably the best effective crowd control tool that you can have. It's a statistic that one horse and rider is equal to 11 officers on foot. So when we're in a crowd, we can effectively work a large number of people with a lot smaller number of officers. Because we're here sitting on the horse, we can actually see into the crowd, and if you can see me, I can see you, and we're a deterrent. Hopefully they're not going to do the crime that they would do. If I was on foot, I can only see so far into the crowd. If I'm on the outside of the crowd with my horse and my other riders are sitting on their horses, we can effectively see the entire crowd. And then if something were to happen, we can go into the crowd and take care of whatever we need to. The horses are the best form of intimidation without physical contact. And so the way the things are now, we can actually move a crowd and make people effectively go where we want them to go and never have to touch them, which, you know, there's no complaints, there's no physical abuse complaints, excessive force, and stuff like that. And with every day now people having cameras, it really helps us to make sure that we're just doing our job and we don't have to actually lay hands on anybody. You know, where if I was on the ground and asked some people to move in a crowd, they may not, you know, respect an officer on foot, but when you come up to them on one of these horses that are 2,000, 1,800, anywhere from 1,800 to 2,200 pounds, they're going to respect the horse. It's kind of a twofold. We're here to protect the parking lot, to make sure nobody breaks into cars, or we've actually helped catch shoplifters that run out of stores in the parking lots, and to keep people from breaking into cars, hopefully. But on top, but also, people come up to us and speak to us and talk to us, and they really like to see the horses. They're a great ambassador for a police officer. They just let them see that we're just a regular person doing a job, and we're just out here to try to protect them and to help them. And the horses is a great segue into that, to where they can come up to us and talk, where if I'm in a patrol car or a bicycle or even on foot, they just really don't come up to you and talk to you, but they'll come up and want to pet your horse, obviously, and it draws attention to you and people come talk to you, and then, you know, that just leads into other things, and it's a really helpful. They're probably the best PR tool also within a department. But they're an effective law enforcement tool, but they're great for public relations. Everybody wants to, you know, pet the horse and see the horse. All our horses are donated. The county's never bought a police horse. They're actually all donated to the department. That's the joy of this, is people actually have horses and they want them to go to good homes, and they'll donate them to the Sheriff's Department, and then I train them to see if they'll become police horses. And we've never spent any money on buying horses, and this program has been for 16 years. We have so much help within the community. Bubba Arnold at Arnold Farms in Las Casas supplies all our hay to us for free. He donates all our hay. That is so enormous help that you can't even imagine how much that helps us. Las Casas Feed out there, Jennifer and Coy Young help us out with feed and everything. And that, you know, I like to keep spending our money within the county, what little money we have to spend in our county, because, you know, let's spend the money here. Last year we ran the entire division and just a little under $6,000 was what this entire division ran, and we were just busy all year. Example, in October alone we did 21 events with the horses in 1 month. So I mean, they stay extremely busy, and we like it that way. But it's a very effective, cost-effective tool within the county. You know, and people seem to love it, and the people have always liked it, and, you know, it just gets us back to let everybody, you know, good ambassadors. That's what we're wanting to do, is just be there for the people of the community.
And that's all we have for you today, folks. I would like to thank everyone who took part in this edition, and I would especially like to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in and joining us. If you would like to know more information about the Rutherford County government, please visit us at www.rutherfordcountytn.gov. Again, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again next time on Rutherford County Magazine. Keep smiling and have a great day.